Total up the number of characters. What does that mean? How many times does GRA show up in this range? How about PAS? How about ST? What if GRA or PAS? Well, we have a couple different ways to do this. One, we're going to use COUNTIF on the simple part. Then this very complex approach, GRA or PAS, we're going to use SUMPRODUCT. You're going to have to use ISNUMBER and FIND. ISNUMBER and FIND. What is it? ISNUMBER and FIND? What is SUMPRODUCT with all of this put together? Well, let me explain it. In this tutorial, there's going to be a little bit of a twist here. We're going to use the COUNTIF. Now, in the previous tutorial, we were playing around with COUNTIF and SUMPRODUCT. Well, in here, we're going to use the COUNTIF, and then we'll jump into a little more sophistication and use the SUMPRODUCT. Brad Williams, Excel Primed. Let's get started here. The arrangement is, I know there's a lot of information here. Don't worry about it. There's a lot of redundancy here. There's some new functions here. We have the ISNUMBER function, and we're going to use it multiple times. And then we have the FIND function. That's a little more complex, but we're going to focus on the COUNTIF first, then we'll jump into this trickier problem. Total up the number of characters. We're just looking for characters. We're going to use wildcard, and we have a list of, in this case, produce. And what we're looking for is anything that has any part of GRA in it. And here we have grapefruit for simplicity. The COUNTIF, well, COUNTIF counts the cells that meet a criteria. Common sense will say, well, there's a GRA. How do I find that? How do I do that? Well, the COUNTIF function will do this. Very simple terms, we have COUNTIF and B5. Here's our list of information. And then we put our criteria, GRA. So let's read the instructions here. COUNTIF, range and criteria. Well, here's the list. And what's the criteria? We have GRA. Remember, keep in mind that when you're dealing with text, you're going to need to put these in parentheses. Remember the wildcard. It's just the asterisk. The way Excel reads this is GRA and anything after. So you have GRA. You could reverse this. You could put the wildcard in front, and you could say ANT, wildcard ANT, and it would pick up eggplant. Or you could put the wildcard on both sides, catch everything with GRA in it, either pre or post in terms of characters. And that's really the COUNTIF function. As I stated in other tutorials, this is how the SUMPRODUCT does its thing. And I'll show you that down here in a second. The analysis using a formula based on the SUMPRODUCT, the write-up really is for this more complex, seems more complex because we have to use a bunch of nested functions. But don't let it intimidate you. I'll walk you through it here. Using a formula based on the SUMPRODUCT function, you can count the number of cells that contain either X or Y. Here, we're looking at multiple criteria. And the way it's set up here is, we'll get into ISNUMBER in a second. Find GRA. Okay, well, just exclude the second and just think, well, okay, this is a COUNTIF. So why can't we do COUNTIF twice? Because the COUNTIF won't add them up together. We could go GRA. So we'll find GRA. What do we want to do with it? We want to be able to sum that up. Well, keep in mind, SUMPRODUCT has to use a number. What we have to do is convert that over into a number. That's where the unary comes into play. And the other criteria is ISNUMBER. Well, it's asking for PAS. And it's explicit here. GRA, find PAS. The difference here is there's no wildcard. You could incorporate the wildcard in here, and you probably could do a COUNTIF twice. We'll get into that, or maybe in another tutorial, I'll experiment with that. But right now, let's just focus on this SUMPRODUCT. Let's go through talking points when counting cells using OR language. You must avoid double counting. For instance, if you're counting cells that contain A, B, C, or D, E, F, you cannot simply add two COUNTIF functions together. as they may result in a double count of cells that contain both A, B, C, and D, E, F. There you go. For a single formula, some product with ISNUMBER plus FIND can be used. Here's the formula. ISNUMBER find ST. I just use ST in another, okay, right here, ST. This data will return a list of true false values when given a list of cells. You're going to see, we're looking for GRA. We're going to have 1, 0, 0, and then wherever that PAS. So you have 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. How do we know that? Because that's the way this thing works. Remember, I just said you can fool around with this. So here's the 1, 0, 0, 0, because grapefruit is 1, and that's GRA. It's looking for the PAS, and there's the PAS. And what happens? Some product is just going to sum this up. 2. Be sure to check out all of our Excel courses. Excel data and text manipulation. We have an advanced beginners and intermediate course. Excel essentials. This is for individuals new to Excel. We have an advanced, excellent beginners, level 1 and level 2, and intermediate level course. Excel formulas, formulas only. We have a beginner, an advanced, and an intermediate level course. Click on any of the links. There's a short video that explains everything about the course. Check it out. It's the details, it's the ISNUMBER. Well, ISNUMBER tests if a cell is a number. FIND locates the position of text within a cell, case sensitive. So let's go in here without getting overly involved. Here we have an array. So this is the array. This is the 1s and the 000s. You have to fine tune it. So what we're going to do, what does FIND do? Well, FIND's criteria is find the text, within text, start number. So here we have FIND, and we have a value. Go find. So it says find text. We're looking to find PAS. Why are we looking for PAS first? I've said a couple of other times, when you're trying to define this, always start from the right and move left. We're looking for PAS. Well, where are we looking? Let's go over here. All I'm doing is click on the range. So go back in here and just click here, find text. I just click PAS, and you're going to see the criteria here. Here it is, find text, within text, E5. So it's going to look for information here. There's some voluntary stuff, start number. Well, that's where it stops. So that's all find does. The next argument is ISNUMBER. ISNUMBER is going to ask for test of cell is number, true or false. Well, here it's just going to look for a value. Well, it's not going to be able to find a value. All it's going to be able to do is find the PAS, and it's going to go true or false. What it does, if it finds PAS, it'll say true, value, F9. You see where it says value, 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 1, value, value. So here it turns that true, false into 1s. So we look here, what does that 1 represent? The passion fruit. What happens next? We go over and we test this other situation. We have ISNUMBER, GRA. We're going to get F9 value, F9. So we get 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And as I showed before, F9, we're going to get this array of 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. And that's it. Some products it's going to go 1, 0, 0, 0. It's understanding the different functions and then piecing them together. In other words, it's just practice. So you're just going to practice this. That's a summary. Read this information. What I just explained, but read it over when you're experimenting with this. But that's a quick sum product using ISNUMBER and a find function. Brad Williams, Excel Primed.